This is Dropping Hints.
I'm Alex.
I'm Silas.
In this podcast, you'll catch a glimpse of our everyday conversations.
You know what's weird?
Who?
Who, eh?
What?
How did you know I was going to say who? I said, what's weird?
Just a feeling.
Homeschoolers.
Yes.
Homeschoolers. Barring some things that you'll see in the Keys after midnight, that's some of the weirdest crap on earth.
What have you seen in the Keys after midnight?
I don't want to tell it here, but...
Okay. I don't know if you've ever been to the Keys after midnight.
I have been in the Keys, and it has been after midnight at some point. I feel like we're really close. I don't like it.
We're only brothers.
Only brothers. I don't like that one bit.
So let me get this straight. You want to take this time in the podcast to ramble a little bit on the...
Forget about that. Let's talk about bloody homeschoolers.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some of I mean this, some of the brightest people that you'll ever meet. I'm not being facetious. I'm truthfully. There's some of like the smartest, just most freakishly
Well, you can't forget.
Incredible. What?
We were homeschooled, so
yeah. I'm not saying
maybe
this,
a little bit biased.
I'm not, saying this necessarily like, look at us, we were homeschooled. I mean, it's good, sure, for some people, but I mean, they're some of the brightest, but also sometimes the strangest, because they're not.
I think they are the most polar group.
Yeah.
You have some in the group who are totally, like you said, bright, brilliant,
well-adjusted socially.
Yeah, socially, like flourishing, academically intelligent, like all these things. And then you have some people who they're not all there.
They're just, you look at them and you're like, how did you get here?
Now, we don't want to make a judgment on who they are.
Right,
but
we're not judging like their character or something like that, and we're not saying that they're all like just like lunatics. We are homeschoolers. We were homeschoolers.
But we realize
we need to acknowledge this.
Yeah.
We can't just like be like, yeah, everything's normal. So one of the best things that you can do is take all the homeschoolers and put them in one place
at the same time
for 3 days. And then you're going to have to make some empty tombs after that.
This sounds like a magical thing.
It is definitely one of a kind. Actually, it happened every year, so however many years it happened, it was every kind. We're referring to the FPEA.
What does that stand for?
Florida Parent Educator Association.
That's right.
Convention.
Yes.
FPEAC.
/graduation.
Yes, it was a homeschooling convention and a graduation where people are always like,
so this is the state of Florida only.
Yes. Florida Parent
It's not the
Educators.
national. I think, is there a national?
I hope not.
There
we
should
could raise
be
an army of homeschoolers.
Homeschoolers have taken over the world.
You'd flee if you saw them.
For a bunch of different reasons, you'd flee.
Never mind.
Not because you felt threatened.
Well, you would definitely be afraid. The Florida Parent Educator Association, and everybody always asks the homeschoolers, they're like, oh, so like you guys, like, what do you do for graduation? Do you like go down to your basement and like you just like have like a little graduation
First of all,
cup?
it's Florida. We don't have basements.
We don't have basements. We'd be
Second
underwater.
of all, we're a little bit more classy than that.
Yeah, we go to the Gaylord Palms, people.
Yes.
That's where this was held, the Gaylord Palms. You've never been to the Gaylord Palms? Legit?
I've been there.
Cool. Same though. We were there together, if you didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Twice.
This is Orlando area.
Orlando, yeah. It's right near, it's pretty close to Disney.
Very close.
It's near Disney.
Yeah.
And
I seem to recall going to Disney World shortly before or after.
And then we stayed, I think, at a different hotel, went to Disney, and then went to the Gaylord Palms for the event. And this is like a luxury, amazing hotel. There's
their atrium is phenomenal.
There's like this giant atrium and courtyard, and there's literally like alligator enclosures inside the atrium.
They have all these gardens and pathways throughout.
It's incredible. Really nice. So it's a lovely place to have the convention. Maybe people who...
Because it has a large convention center.
It's
attached
basically
to it.
A convention center, attached
bunch of ballrooms
to it. There's plenty of ballrooms, plenty of.
Yep.
I was gonna say plenty of room for balls, but yeah, but you know what I mean. And I did say it now, so there it is. Nothing I can do about it. This is where we're going.
Yep. But
man, I hope this camera doesn't die. But man, so yeah, this is a convention. People say like, oh, what do you do for homeschool conventions? Do you just like, is it just like, yep, there, I did it? It's like, well, no. I mean, you can go to a convention. They gather all the homeschoolers up, and they just put them in a big line, and then you all wear your graduation caps and gowns. It's like any other high school graduation, except you're at a big, nice convention center instead of a scummy public school.
Wow. We don't mean that literally.
I mean that literally.
All right. Anyway, it wasn't exactly because everyone wore their own graduation gown or cap, whatever. Yeah. So you had all these different gowns. Like some of them were red, some of them were pink. Black, some of them were pink. Yeah. All these different colors.
Yeah.
So it was a very colorful display of homeschool graduation.
You know, everybody has their little color that they wanted to wear, and it was really fun.
But the scale, the magnitude of these things, I think we need to put this in perspective. I think that there were
60,000 homeschoolers.
Not quite. But I think there are probably around 400 to 500 in my graduating class that were there.
So then imagine like at least three family members, probably like three family members on average for everybody. So there's like a couple thousand people.
Yeah, over 1,000, almost 2,000 people easily at this convention.
Yeah.
So
this is a massive, big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had all these events that they would organize throughout the convention. Some were better than others. Most were not better than the others. No, not really. There was a lot of fun things that we did. Seriously, I went on a scavenger hunt.
I wouldn't know because, so we both did this homeschool graduation. I graduated in 2015, and Silas graduated in 2017. So first of all, for me, it's a little bit more hazy because I'm having to remember 5 years ago of memories that were kind of anyway. Suppressed. No.
Right.
So we both had a different experience to this because while Silas would go out and do all these activities because it was a 3 or 4 day conference, whatever, they had activities planned leading up to the graduation ceremony, and they encouraged all the homeschoolers to participate with their younger siblings and their families and whatnot. But luckily, I kind of avoided most of the events because I kind of knew I don't really listen. Nothing against any of the homeschoolers that I graduated with, but I was just like not thrilled about the idea of going on a scavenger hunt with a bunch of other homeschoolers throughout the Gaylord Palms Hotel. It just didn't seem like a fun thing to me. I thought I'd just rather go hang out at the pool.
Yeah.
So
I distinctly remember my scavenger hunt. I went with a couple of people. If you're listening, you know who you are. And it was the only reason that it was like so fun for me was because I was taking it so like I was feigning, seriousness. I was like, I wasn't being overly dramatic, but I was like taking it like serious, and I was like, okay, we're gonna like cut across this patch of bush here so that we can make a shortcut so we can get to that place, and there's like little clues and riddles that you have to solve, and I'm like, I know exactly where that is because I've been there 5 times. I've already walked around this atrium 20 times. And so it's like I was taking it so seriously, and they were like, you're just like our arbiter, like our little guide. And I was like, yeah, I'm a freaking trailblazer over here. Just like, so it was so fun to just like hang out and just run around, do that stuff. But there was also like times when it's like they're right before the scavenger hunt, we were all in this one of the big ballrooms, and they were doing a talent show. Not even a talent show. It was literally it wasn't an organized talent show. If it was an organized talent show, that might have been different. This is literally just somebody like made it up to kill time or something. And it's like, they're like, does anybody have a talent they want to show? So you have some people coming up and they're like flipping their arms behind themselves. Like, look, I'm double jointed and I'm a freaking contortionist. And then you have some people people were just walking around with instruments for some reason.
Yeah,
You
I
would
believe
see
it.
that. Just like a guy walking around
In a fedora hat,
indoors, fedora, sunglasses,
carrying a guitar.
Not even in the case, just strapped to his chest, has a guitar, walking around. And I'm like, I don't know what to say to you, because I'm partially really proud that you're just going for it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not sure if you're just aware that, like,
It's a little cringy.
you look like a meme. I don't know if you're trying to meme. I don't know if you're. That's okay. Even if you're not, cool, cool, man. Just like, and yeah. And so, then you had some people singing, and a few of the people, I was like, dang, this person's actually pretty talented.
Yeah, homeschoolers are very talented.
Yeah.
You have some...
Every homeschooler has some kind of freakish thing they can do.
Well, I'm thinking of all the homeschoolers I know that were really good singers or musicians, like, whether it be like piano or guitar. Like, some of the best musicians, the brightest musicians that I knew personally were homeschooled.
What else I got to do?
Exactly. They're just sitting at home like that.
I mean, if you save like hours and hours and hours every year not driving places, like driving to school and driving to school events, you have other events that you can do as a home, which we're not talking about. We're not getting into that. That's going to just take us on a tangent. We don't need to go down to the events and the theater and all that stuff.
But back to the talent show.
The talent show. Massive quotation marks around talent
show. How much
show.
Talent was on display there?
Enough to make people think that a group of people could sing the Gilligan's Island theme song and actually fail, because I was the only freaking one who knew it.
Shout out to any listeners who know what that theme song is.
They were like,
you get bonus points.
The lady, the lady who was like hosting it all. It seems like everybody knew her, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Mrs. Mrs. Jenkins or something. She's like, she's the coolest." And she just was like that. Like, she had that vibe where like she was like the type of like adult.
She wanted
lady.
to be the fun person.
Yeah,
the fun
like,
adult.
She was the type of lady that like homeschoolers would think is like super cool, and she was. I'm not saying she wasn't.
Right.
But like, just she had that overt vibe that like if any public or private schooler walked in, they would be like, I'm getting out of here.
You're weird.
I'm getting out of here. I don't know how longer I'm gonna have all my limbs. I need to get out of here. But the talent show, then she was like, oh, like, who wants to sing the Gilligan's Island theme song? No idea why they got onto that. I guess they just assume all homeschoolers know what Gilligan's Island is.
I mean, is that a invalid assumption?
That's a much more likely assumption to make than with any other group. And I was like, you know what? I'm graduating. I'm never gonna see any of these people again. Freaking yeah! I raised my hand. I'm like, I know the Gilligan's Island theme song. What of it? And then like some people are also like, oh yeah, I got it. Let's do that. And then we go up, and there's like, I don't know, there's like a dozen of us lined up in front of the stage.
See, if anyone knew it, the homeschoolers would.
And nobody knew it, or at least nobody had the guts to sing it besides me. And I was looking at them like, know when Sokka is like trying to sing to the badger moles, the big badger mole, and he's like, come on guys, help me out here. That's what I was doing. I was like,
Atla reference.
I was like, what are you people doing? It's not hard to sing it. Then we
let
got
us know in the
a little
comments
way
if
through
you
it.
know that song and if you can recite it from memory.
We won't do it here, but it's not that hard. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just alone in this. And then I had to walk away, and then go on the scavenger hunt.
I'm sure they applauded you.
They out of pity applause.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I'm sure that it was impressed. They were impressed.
Yeah. We didn't finish the song. You know that, right? We did.
Okay.
We didn't
maybe
finish the theme song.
I wasn't there because
you weren't.
Even though I went to your.
You did go to my graduation.
I think that I did. I think I went to Disney World that day because I was like, I'm not sticking around in this convention of homeschoolers. I'm going to Disney World.
But they also had the.
I didn't feel the need to participate in any of these. I just hung out by the pool, and the most exciting thing that happened was someone tried to catch a duck that had flown into.
There was a wild duck in the pool.
A duck, okay. A duck from Canada probably flew and landed in the pool, and you just got a bunch of homeschoolers in this pool, and pools like
most homeschoolers have never actually seen a duck.
Yeah, because they don't go outside. So, just a bunch of homeschoolers just tried to circle around this duck, and catch it, and I was just lounging in a chair, watching this all go down, thinking, wow, these people are pretty dumb, like trying to, and they never caught it.
No.
But it was amusing to watch for sure.
One kid dove right in for it, I remember.
But that was like the only, because I had some friends that were hanging out at the pool as well, because we were kind of like the too cool for this vibe of like, yeah, let's just do our own thing.
You and your 17-year-old too cool for this vibes.
Yeah,
we all had that. I had that.
Whoops.
We all had that. I mean, but also the pool was really crowded, I think. For me, too crowded. I didn't like just kind of go in there, and because I didn't want to go in the water because there were so many people, and then we'd have to talk to the people, and we're just sitting there.
I think they would like body shame you.
Not overtly, but just we're just floating around there, and I'm like, this is like
floating around.
Yeah, we're just floating around. We could all just close our eyes and swim around, and then you bump into a duck, and then boom, you got H1N1.
Well, maybe
that's a throwback.
But yes, but but you also saw some other strange things throughout the conference.
Would you like the most strange thing?
Sure, go for it.
One sentence. I saw a child eating a raw potato with a straw. I saw a child eating a raw potato with a straw.
Okay. Couple questions.
Do you want to know where he got the potato?
One, where did he get the potato?
It was in a sack.
It was in a potato sack.
Not a potato sack. It was in an FPEA sack given out to all of the homeschoolers. Why did they have a raw potato in the sack, you may ask? Why did they have a straw, you may ask?
Yes, that exactly is my question.
I'm glad you asked, because there was a little science demonstration breakout. And the science demonstration was something along the lines of, hey, I think we can conduct electricity with this freaking potato. Let's try doing that. And there's a straw involved at some point. I don't know if you had to stick the straw through the potato. I think that's what you were supposed to do. I think you were supposed to, like, literally just huck the straw into the potato. Instead, one of the children, I'm sure more than one, to be honest, decided to huck the straw into the potato, pull it out, and then suck out the little potato bit that got stuck in the straw.
I've never tasted raw potato.
Lucky
I wonder
you.
what it tastes like.
I have, actually. As a side note, it's very starchy.
I wonder what it tastes like.
It's almost like a water chestnut in a way, but much worse. Water chestnuts are good.
Oh my gosh.
But the texture is very much like a water chestnut. But that's the strangest thing I saw. Freaking child eating a raw potato, and that was actually at your graduation, 2015.
Again.
And I looked over.
I wasn't hanging around with the other people.
No, you were there with me. I remember we were in this like breakout.
One of the few things that I actually did.
And we looked over and saw this kid who's like, I don't know, maybe like 13, 12, doing that.
Makes sense.
He was a child. He wasn't like a 18-year-old.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of the graduating students was doing it as well.
I mean, almost just for like the memes, just like, let me eat this raw potato, and my friends will be like, Derek ate a raw potato.
I feel like this was before the meme culture had permeated the homeschool demographic in the way.
I was just not invested in meme culture. I didn't have Instagram at the time, and so it was like I wasn't seeing memes anywhere, so I didn't know memes really. So I mean, now it's like I'm looking. There's this game over there called What Do You Meme? I keep looking at it.
So what was another strange thing that you saw? The potato was one.
The potato was one. I made a story about this, I think a couple of years ago. Wow. This sentence.
I made a story a couple years ago.
I made a story about this a couple years ago. Props to you if you remember it. It was like a 3-minute story where I scrolled through and looked at some pictures, candids taken at the convention. And there's just it literally looked like they just gave a high schooler a sandwich and a camera and was like, here's a sandwich, go take pictures. And he just took pictures, or whoever this photographer was, there's pictures for sale that you can buy of like just like meatballs on a platter. Pictures of random people's children in a stroller. Just a random person's child looking at the camera and like, how did that... I said in the story, how did that conversation go? Either, can I take a picture? Do you mind if I take a picture of your child while you sit in line?
Oh, man.
Or I'm going to sit 30 feet back with my telephoto lens so I can zoom in and take a picture of your... Neither of which is a good option. So that was another strange thing. You can look. I scroll through all these pictures on my story and was showing them, and there's just so many like just strange pictures of just random people, like people who they say candids, but it's like when you take a candid, there has to be like an event happening. This person was literally just running around taking pictures of people, which is just creepy.
A little bit.
But there were some good candids from the prom night.
From the prom, yeah.
Yes.
Because homeschoolers do.
Do have. I went to 2 proms, people.
I went to 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 counting your. I was also at yours for prom.
I was also at yours then too.
3.
So we each went to 3.
3 proms, man. And
yeah. How many have you been to?
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't think it.
I feel bad for all the. Maybe there's like a high schooler whose prom was canceled because of COVID. I'm sorry.
We are sorry for you. Please let us know if there's anything we can do for you.
But you'll never get that prom back.
No, you won't. Sorry.
Yeah.
But are they really missing anything?
Not at the end of the day.
Prom's like you go to it. It's like whatever.
When I went,
at the end of it, you're just like, man.
I went to 2 proms. One was in South Florida, held at the, what was it called?
Signature Grand.
Another wonderful place.
I thought it was weird and creepy and run down.
It was
and
not
musty.
it was pretty musty. It was definitely not as nice as the Gaylord, but it was like I went to the prom there. That was of course much smaller. That was just my local prom. There was maybe a couple hundred, maybe like 150.
No. Probably not even.
Oh, not even 100. Yeah, there wouldn't have been 100.
Fewer than 100.
I don't know. There was a lot of people there, but we filled up the room definitely, but probably less than 100. But it was whatever. Then the other prom though, there must have been like, I mean, I'd say
not everyone went.
Not
so
everyone
it was
went.
Probably,
maybe 200.
Yeah, it was probably 200 people.
200 people in that prom, and that was a really fun time because it's like,
yeah.
These homeschoolers are from all over Florida. Some of them are from like Lakeland. Some of them are from freaking Pensacola.
It's like meeting someone from a different country, almost.
Okay.
You have as homeschoolers, you
say we have a bond as homeschoolers.
No. I'm just saying. The only thing is that you have something in common with them.
Yes.
But they have different homeschooling cultures.
Yeah.
There are different homeschooling cultures
and cults
throughout not the
short for culture
throughout Florida, and I'm sure the rest of the United States. I don't know how many other countries in the world do homeschooling.
I'm sure all of them,
but there's definitely a culture associated with each geographical area, and so it was interesting to meet other homeschoolers from other places in Florida and just talk about their experiences and your experiences and how they differ. And so that was interesting, but it came out through prom, and that we realized that, what, only like the normal homeschoolers showed up to prom. I feel like
I don't know,
you didn't have the potato eating type show up to prom really. By and large,
most of the time. I mean, I feel like there was a few people that I saw there that I was like, I saw you doing some weird stuff.
I saw you eating a potato.
I saw you eat that potato. I saw you dislocate your arm and run around showing everybody. I saw that, and everybody else saw that.
How dare you show your face here?
Yeah, but I mean, some of them showing a lot more than their face. You know what I'm saying?
Well, homeschoolers, they can clean up pretty nice.
Homeschoolers can throw down.
Yes.
I mean, but the prom was really fun, and just you're standing there dancing around all in whatever they call it, the cha-cha slide. I don't know, you're doing like the unison dances, and you're like
line dancing,
and you're just like, what are we doing? This is great. We're just doing here. I remember I requested a song.
Really?
Yeah, I went and I requested a song, and when she looked at the paper and literally rolled her eyes, I just walked away, and I was like, and I really hoped she played it.
What song was it?
I requested Mr. Trololo.
Oh my gosh. This
that was it.
This is pretty much what you could expect from homeschool prom. We keep hyping it up that it was good. this is probably
They of course didn't play the song. She rolled her eyes and was like, I was like, they're not gonna play this. But I was like, man.
Oh, they didn't play it?
No, they didn't play it.
Oh, I thought they would have.
No, I wish they did, because I was there with a friend of mine. He knows who he is if he's listening. And
Is it Connors?
No, Connors wasn't there. I went to the other prom. I almost said I went to the other prom with Connor. I went alongside Connors. We were not like, forget it. We were both at prom at the same time. Okay,
you don't have to defend it, Silas. Put it down.
So, but yeah, it was somebody. It was one of the Carvalhos.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't care. And so, yeah, he was like, "Oh, you should request it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna request it." And I was like, "I really hope they play it," because it was like kind of like our meme. It was like between me and him. It was like our meme, the Trololo song, and they didn't play it. But that's okay. You learned a valuable lesson that day. Don't request songs unless you know they're gonna get played, or send. I was going to start recruiting people to actually go and request it. And I thought if they got enough requests, they would have to play it. Wow. I was legit prepared. I was thinking about like going to as many people as I could and being like, please go and request this song. Like, just do it. You will not regret it. I'll give you $50 under the table.
Oh my gosh. You really wanted this stupid song to be played.
So I would have literally... There was one other thing. I don't want to keep us too long, but there was one other thing. I don't want to cut you off either. There was one other thing that I really, really, really wish that I did.
No, you're very passionate about this, so...
Yeah, this thing, I wish I did this so badly. If I could go back, I would do this. No questions asked.
Okay, I'm really curious.
You know those inflatable dinosaur costumes?
Oh my gosh.
You know where this is going. Yeah. I wish that I just, like, I showed up at prom. I'm talking the big prom, not like the little prom, the big prom. I showed up at big prom, had, my normal regalia. I was wearing a penguin bow tie. You know what's up. And it was like, it was great. We were doing our thing. And I wish that, like, 40 minutes in, like right when maybe 30 minutes in, I don't know how long, right before like they start playing like the really hype songs, I would have slipped out, grabbed my backpack, put on this inflatable dinosaur outfit, waited literally like in a dark corner until I heard a bass drop coming. And then the moment that a bass drop came, I would just like sprint into the center of the dance roll and just start like going crazy. There's just a dinosaur. I love those inflatable dinosaur costumes. I like want one so bad just to like do something stupid with it like that. Where like, like I would have been so... I would have been so pleased with myself. Like if I did that, there would have been some people that were like, oh, look at that dork. But there would have been so many people that were like, this is the greatest day ever.
I think everyone would probably have that reaction of this is awesome. Like, who is this guy? You probably would have gone viral.
I would have instantly became like the talk of the conference. Like the next day, they would have been like, holy crap, were you guys at the prom last night? There was like a dinosaur. It was crazy.
And the next day when you walked across the stage, you should have worn it then too and revealed to the whole convention your true identity.
Like, you thought I was a real dinosaur. I love those dino costumes so much. I want one so bad. I think they're just I think they would just be so fun.
Whoever makes those, if you're listening, sponsor us.
Give us a couple, and we will, I don't know, find something strange to do. I have nothing to do now. I thought that maybe that would have been a fun thing to wear to like a Friday night thing. You remember back in the day, old school Calvary peeps will remember Friday night thing. Yeah. And I was like, man, that would have been maybe a fun thing to wear. But now I just want one to love and to cherish and to hold dear.
I'm a little concerned by that.
I just want one so that I can find something stupid to wear it to and just be like a dinosaur walking around downtown, walking around the promenade or something like that.
You just do it for the memes. Huh?
Yeah, I love doing things for the memes. That's what this whole podcast is about.
Yeah.
We're just here for the memes.
Well, we were there at the convention for the memes, by and large, but we didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
But little did we know that in the future we would be doing a podcast talking about exactly what went down.
Who would have known? Who would have thunk?
You should stay for the after hours where we talk about what really went. No, I'm just kidding.
You know nothing of the homeschoolers.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would just say homeschoolers are a rare type.
They're just a
rare type. There's some that definitely have the stereotype of little strange, little off center,
not well adjusted to
you know,
social interaction, no social skills.
But I've seen ones who are not well adjusted become adjusted,
like us,
with proper time and motivation and training and resources. Yeah. So if you have a homeschool friend who is a little off their rocker
give him a chance.
Give him a chance. Okay,
it's probably
do your part and acclimate them to society.
I mean, I think that it's just, I'll close with this, that I think a lot of homeschoolers just spend a lot of time around adults, and so they don't end up spending maybe as much time as like everybody else around other kids, because other kids are in school for 8 hours a day, whereas we're at home with our parents for 8 hours a day, and then we go to a homeschool convention where there's hundreds of parents, and we go to our little homeschool, gatherings, monthly meetings, where there's like, other parents and stuff like that, and you're always around adults, and it's like, you just kind of like, you see, you're not like a normal kid, but it's not because you're a freak. It's just because you see a different side of everything, because you're with your mom when she goes to the bank, when she goes to the grocery store. You're always just interacting with adults and people, so you just kind of know how to behave. Like homeschoolers are typically very well behaved children.
Yeah,
they're not like rowdy.
That's interesting, because I was going to ask you what do you think the fundamental reason is why you have some homeschoolers who are out there and some who are by and large pretty normal? You couldn't pick them out in a crowd of public private schoolers and home, like you couldn't be able to pick them out. Like why do you think?
I think it just comes down to like who your parents are, what kind of things they have you involved with. We were of course always at church, and there were a lot of homeschoolers at Calvary, and it's like, so we were interacting with other homeschoolers, other private schoolers from Calvary, public schoolers who didn't go to Calvary, a lot of kids who went to Monarch High School and middle school. And Monarch is a middle school, right?
I have no clue.
I don't know. We're freaking homeschoolers. We don't know this stuff.
I've never been to a high school or middle school to
Where
be there.
Did you take the SAT? At a high school.
Well, I mean for like classes.
That's not what we're talking about. We've set foot in schools and school buses and stuff like that. Very rare occasion. I rode to summer camp.
All right.
We're getting off topic. I think that it's just like who your parents are and what kind of interaction you have. We had a lot of interaction at church. We had a lot of interaction at the homeschool group, and we were pretty well acclimated. We didn't have like tons and tons of friends, like massive posses that would be following us around. We didn't have like big parties. We had a lot of, sometimes like our friends would come over and we'd go down to the park down the street and play volleyball and Red Rover and stuff like that. And those days were really, really fun. A lot of other homeschoolers, but also, like I said, some public schoolers, some private schoolers. We had a good balance, but we never had like this massive group of people, so we weren't quite like as maybe immersed in it as like a public schooler would be, but we had friends and we had people and we had things to do, so we weren't just like pale freakish creatures that only come out of the house to sow our wheat.
Careful, because we kind of resemble pale freakish creatures right now.
I do. But
so would you say that we had to be sort of like resourceful with our social lives and figuring out, okay, we have opportunities to get social
friends
stimulation, I don't know, through these avenues?
We had to be resourceful by finding that stuff, you're saying?
Yeah, would you say that?
Yeah, I think so. And I didn't really go out of my way to start making that sounds so weird. I didn't really go out of my way to like make friends and like go and like make plans like, hey, let's hang out and do this, till I was like in late high school. That was like just when I was like 17, 16. That's like when I started to like really be like, okay, I'm gonna like.
That's when you
actually
came out
be
of
friends.
your cocoon and the
Yeah,
butterfly spread its
right.
wings.
And some of you people know me from when I was like 15 and 14. I was a freaking strange little. I'm still a strange little fella.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that was like when I actually started being like, you know, let me actually try this whole friend thing. I didn't say that. It wasn't like a conscious choice. I just kind of realized.
I guess I'll try the
after
friend
a while
thing.
that I was like, hey, I realize now that I like have like friends and I like go like hang out with people on like Friday night. And like I didn't not my small group. I'm not saying that. I don't know if you but
well, it was a choice that you made, and for me similarly, where you had to say, you know what, I'm gonna go because it's important to me that I have friends, that I have social life. So it's important to me. So I'm gonna make an effort to, and until
gotta put in the work.
Until you come to that conclusion yourself of this is important to me, so I'm going to take steps to do it, then we didn't really have genuine. We had outings at church, sports events, all these things, but until you want to take ownership of it and say, you know what,
yeah,
this is important to me, that I make some genuine friendships that will last for a long time, that you start taking those steps.
And I think that time comes differently for everybody, and it happens to, regardless of whether you're homeschooled or not. Of course, you need to do that.
Yeah, in every stage of life.
You can't just be in public school and not doing that, because then you're just loafing around with a bunch of kids.
And I kind of feel like it's an illusion of because this is what I experienced at university, was going
at university. You sound like a Australian.
It's just the way I say it.
It's great. I like it.
At university, to a certain extent, no one really was talking, was social, was any of those things in the lower classes, like the English, the algebra stuff. Yeah. No one was really too social in those that I found in all my classes. I was probably one of the most talkative people with the people around me. And it seemed like everyone else just wanted to keep to themselves. It wasn't until like later on in my more specific, classes and my core civil engineering classes that, we kind of had like that community and that bond as classmates. Yeah. So it was, but it was a choice that I think subconsciously, all of us had to decide, you know what, I'm going to be around these people for the next, couple semesters, taking the same classes. So, let's enjoy it. Let's make some friendships here, and that will be beneficial. So
yeah, it's like there's no point of just sitting there, not doing anything, not saying anything. You got to get on that. Got to get on those friendships.
Because again, that carries into life. When you go to get a job, people care about how do you work with other people, not so much as what were your grades. It was like, hey, can you function like a normal human being in an environment with other humans? And so I think that the reason why I can do that today is because I was homeschooled, and because I had to make decisions for myself about having friends and being social is important to me. So I'm going to take active steps into making friends I think that's got where I am today. So
I mean, yeah, I concur. I think it's just
well, it's good to know that you concur.
I can concur, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So there's there's a hint for you.
That's homeschool.
Friends.
That's homeschool conventions for you.
Get out there and make friends.
Get out of here. What are you still doing here? Nobody's still here. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing on the internet?
What are you doing here?
Go make friends. Get off the internet.
It'll rot your brain. This is your brain on our podcast. Picture of frying eggs. This is your brain on sunshine, and this is your brain on friendship.
Yes.
And it's happy. It's happy. So get out there. Make some friends. Tell him Silas sent you.
I can't.
Well, we'll see you later.